Surf the future of data.
Hey everyone, welcome back to DataSurface, your space to learn data concepts clearly, practically, and step by step. This video is part of our Oracle SQL Masterclass, where we are building strong SQL fundamentals from scratch. If you are just starting your SQL journey, don't worry, you are exactly where you should be. In the previous two videos, we covered what SQL is and how the entire SQL learning path looks using a simple mind map. Now that you know why SQL matters and where you are headed, it's time to understand the first real building block of any database table. Before select, before where, before joins, SQL needs to understand what kind of data you are storing in the database, and that's where data types comes in. So in this session, we will discuss about the Oracle SQL data types. Let's see today's agenda. We will quickly go over why data types matter in Oracle. Then we'll look at common character data types like VARCHAR2 and CHAR, followed by the simple visual idea of padding versus precision. After that, we'll touch on numeric data types and how numbers are stored, and we'll also compare date and timestamp to understand how Oracle handles date and time. And then finally, we'll take a quick look at JSON and XML in Oracle 23C. By the end, you will have a clear and easy understanding of Oracle SQL data types. Let's get started. Let's see why data types are matter first. Think of database like a smart warehouse. You wouldn't store water in cardboard box, right? You wouldn't store important documents in freezer, right? So in the same way, SQL needs clear instructions about every piece of data. That instruction is called as a data type. So choosing the right data type helps SQL keep data accurate and use less storage, and also run queries faster and more reliable, right? So like what kind of data you are going to store in that particular table. So based on this particular data types only, Oracle will understand. I hope now we are clear about why data types are important, right? Now let's move on about the character or text data types. So in Oracle, the most commonly used one is VARCHAR2 or VARCHAR2. It is basically variable length string, the enterprise standard for storage efficiency, right? So it is a very common use data type, and it is a flexible, it is a default choice in real projects. On the other hand, character is a fixed length. We use character only when the data length is always fixed, like a country codes or status flags. So what is the difference between this VARCHAR2 and CHAR? Let's see quick example. So see, now in this example, look at, I have different characters data type. 10 is the storage, is basically size, and I have stored data only 4 characters. The remaining 6 characters or 6 bytes, it by default padding as a space. But whereas the VARCHAR2, even though I have different 10 bytes, if I store only 4, the remaining it will be given back to the system. It won't occupy any space. So that's what the main difference between character and VARCHAR. So the VARCHAR is basically variable length. It is a dynamic. It won't store any space based on the defined size. I hope it's clear, right? Let's move on to the numeric family. So for whole numbers like employee ID, user IDs, age, we use int or integer. No decimals, clean and efficient. For money and financial data, precision is critical. So that's where Oracle provides decimal or number data types. So wherever financial calculations we are doing, either we'll go with a number or decimal data types. For scientific approximate values, we'll use the float data type. So all these three comes under number family. Now let's see an example like, so number and decimal, always we have a 2 parameters will be there inside the data type. One is a precision, P, other one is the scale. So the P is total number of significant digits. So that is something it will allow 1 to 38. So the precision you can use up to 38 digits. Then coming to the scale, it is up to I think 128 digits it will allow. Now let's move on to the next data types, date and timestamp. So these are the data types we will deal with the dates and timestamps. So in Oracle, the date data type stores both date and time. So in Oracle 23C, date will store century, year, month, day, hour, minute and up to second. It won't store fraction of seconds or milliseconds. It will store up to the seconds. But it's coming to the timestamp, it includes everything in the date plus fraction seconds. So as I mentioned, in date, it won't allow to the store the fraction of seconds or milliseconds, but timestamp, it will allow milliseconds as well. So date is for 90% of business logic, join dates, birthdays, all dates columns. Whereas timestamp, moreover, we use for logging and auditing. So using proper date types allows SQL to perform powerful date calculations instead of treating dates like a plain text. So even you can store this date in VARCHAR2, okay, but if you use a proper data type, the performance wise SQL response time is very fast, right? Next, move on to the LOBs data types, large object data types. So sometimes your data isn't a small. For large text, you can go with the CLOB or BLOB data types. For images, audio or videos, we'll use a BLOB. For large text, we'll go with the CLOB. So this both will store up to 4 GB maximum size, right? So there is an raw and long raw also exist, but in modern Oracle systems, BLOB is the preferred way. In Oracle 23 supports LOB size up to 4 GB. That's what you mentioned, right? And B file. So if you want have any large files, binary file, it is located outside of the database, we'll define this particular B file data type and you can refer that particular outside storage file as a reference. So if you see, look at in real world scenarios, healthcare like MRI scan CT results will go with the BLOB and legal tech case filling records and all will go with the CLOB. Now coming to the Oracle 23C, so now the JSON XML data earlier we used to store in CLOB data type, large data objects. But now coming to the Oracle 23C, the JSON has became native data type. So due to this JSON became native data type, the response time of the query is super fast. Like if you are storing this particular data in CLOB, to extract the data from the CLOB data type, it's a little bit tricky one. But now since Oracle is providing JSON as a native data type and you can store the data into the JSON or XML native data types and you can use JSON doc and you can extract the data easily. So quick recap of all the data types so far whatever we have discussed. Character, varchar, varchar2, these are the character or string or text data types. And in this family, nchar, nvarchar, and varchar2 will come. So this is for non-regional languages, or if you are using a different languages, you can use this nvarchar2 data type to store the data. And minimum size is 1 byte, maximum size is 32,000 plus bytes. I think this is something 32676 something will support in Oracle 23C. Whereas numbers like integer, float, decimal, everything will comes under the number family. So the number is precision and scale. It will accept 1 to 38 digits and the scale range is -84 to 127. Date timestamp, so there is no by default size. So the date will store the data up to seconds, whereas timestamp it will store up to milliseconds as well. And CLOB, BLOB, raw, long raw, these all kind of a large based objects. Anyways, in now Oracle 23 will support the JSON and XML as a native data types. So you can store the semi-structured data in those data types, right? So commonly during interviews and all, people will ask why the varchar2 is a preferred compared to varchar or character. So it is the main thing is storage density and performance optimization, right? So varchar2, it won't add any additional spaces. Whatever the data you are storing, only that much will store. Even though you are defining the size is more and you are storing less data, so the varchar2, it will give back that space to the system, right? And timestamp for audit trails, that is the best practices. Never store dates as a varchar2, it is important. And use char only for the flags. Like if you have standard flags as an male, female, any standard flags or country codes, it is just consistent, right? It won't change. So such cases you can go with the character data types. So once the data types are clear, SQL stops feeling confusing and starts feeling logical, right? In the next video, we will discuss about Oracle SQL operators, and also if possible, we will do quick hands-on lab for this particular data types by creating a first table in Oracle SQL. We'll see how the data will store. If this video helped you, like it, subscribe to DataSurface and continue your journey towards SQL mastery. See you in the next video. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.